See, now we will go for Pons. Yesterday we had finished the Pons gross anatomy. Now we will go to the internal of Pons or Fontes, another name for the Pons. Now, in order to know the internal, it means you have to take a section, cut section. So this is the Pons as you know already. So this Pons will be having one will be there at the cut at the upper border, another one will be there at the lower border, and one might be there in the middle. So you have got the three cuts, very close to the lower border and the upper border, and in the middle, roughly approximately. So these are the things that what you should have it. Now after taking a cut, it will be going to get appear. It will be going to get appear in such a way that you will be going to get the views. You will be going to get the views like this. So this may be the front part, anterior, and this may be going as the posterior part of Pons, means posterior surface. This is an anterior surface, so it will be there like this. So this part will be there here, and this part will be there here in the cut section. Now ultimately in the cut section, what the things are there, you will be having the water distribution of the water, that will be neuronal geographic distributions. Neurons are there, and more than that, at the outer part you will be having what is said to be as a grey matter. Inside you have got the white matter. Outside you will be having the grey, exactly opposite of the spinal cord cut section. So in these parts you will be going to get the water neurons. Those neurons are there small, big, medium, all the way, and these neurons, pattern of neuronal geographic distribution at the lower border, in the middle and in the upper part, it differs. Apart from that, there are some other parts in the water, that is the internal of the water Pons, which is important, like the importance of the water, that of the medulla oblongata internal bare reticular formation. So in the internal of the water, that of the, where you can say Pons, you will be going to get the water, that of the, where you can say figures, very betterly taken off or photographed. One is water, the water 7.68, another will be 7.69, and you have got the water, that of the 7 point, that will be the water, that of the 70, and there will be a water piece of that of the, where you can say Pons has been taken, and you will be seeing some tracks in that. So that will be there in the water 7.71. In the Gray's Anatomy, 35th or 36th editions, these figures are very nice, but not colored. You will be going to get the water, that of the, where you can say a little bit black and white. one might be the water somewhere else. This might be the water, something the color, where that nuclei are present of the water, some cranial nerves. Rest of the other you can see figures are only the black and white. So where you can see the deposition of those neuronal geographic distribution in the water forms at the different levels. For that you should refer this, and after having had that, now in short what you will be going to get observe in that these cut sections, you will be having a fifth cranial nerve nucleus, sixth cranial nerve nucleus, seventh cranial nerve nucleus, and the eighth cranial nerve nucleus, especially the vestibular part, cochlear part will be there in the water, in the medulla oblongata. So these things, apart from this in the Pons, you will be getting very rich of in the distribution of reticular formation, reticular formation, it is rich in the formation of, means abundant. Neuronal geographic distribution, you will get. So this thing will be there in the water, internal of the Pons. So after having had this internal, with having these all things, you have to go to the water, a blood supply for the water that of the Pons, by means of the water fountain arteries, which are 5 to 6 on either side of the water, that is the basilar artery, which will be there in the water, anterior row, inferior surface of the water, that of the Pons in the basilar row. Venous drainage of the water, that of the Pons. Venous drainage of the Pons is by the water fountain veins. They will be going to get open into the water basilar veins, which will be there with that basilar artery, and then it will be going to get open into the water superior, inferior petrosal sinuses, which are there on the two folds of the dura mater, and then it will be going into the water, that is the transverse sinus, and the water few goes into the water occipital sinus. Then it will be going to get into the water internal jugular vein, and ultimately. So this is what the venous drainage. There will be a non-lymphatic drainage for the part of the water, any part of the brain, but that is replaced by the CSF. So this is what how. Now after having had these things, now you have to go to the water, that is the development. The development of the water, that is the cancer Pons is by. Of the Pons is by that of the, you can say, the posterior lower part of the water, that of the neural cleft or a neural tube, or what we say the notochord, which will be in turn forms the water. Not only the water cerebral vesicles, the front part of that it will be going to give rise to the water medulla oblongata, but the upper portion of that cerebellar vesicle will be going to develop after forming the that anterior part of the that of the cerebral vesicle. After getting formed medulla oblongata, upper portion of that formation of that of the you can say medulla oblongata by the anterior portion of the cerebral vesicle will be going to bulge it forward and forms the that of the pons. So this is what the development. Then you have got the deal about the connections. Now when you deal the connections, now these connections, in order to know, you should know the internal very much proper. Now these connections are the either the efferent or the afferent. From the internal part of the pons, either the active lower part, middle part or the upper part. Internally, what are those cranial nerve nucleuses are there? They will be going to give rise to the fibers in connection with the connections. All they will be going to form. And then other you can say nuclei are there, and other you can say which are there in the that of the pons internally. They will be going to get connect to the either the spinal cord, part of the spinal cord, or the medulla oblongata, or the minute part of the that you can say medulla oblongata, or the internal of this pons, anyone which will be going to get connect to the that of the midbrain, or the parts of the that of the midbrain, or the subdivisions of that part of the midbrain, and then it may connect to the internal of the pons to the nuclei, to the either the diencephalon and the part of the diencephalon, or the division of that of the you can say diencephalon, and then it also connects to the that of the teleencephalon, that is nothing but the cerebral cortex by means of these connections. So these connections you should know. Now these connections, as I have told you about the afferent and the efferent, so those are the sensory and motor connections you should know. Now these connections will be going to be in connection with the pons. Those are said to be the connections of the pons in the next event or the next class. Till then, bye. Thank you very much.